and watch my wife of 12 years toss her head back, her hand briefly touching Dominic's arm as she laughs at something he said. The gesture looks casual, but I've been married long enough to recognize the difference between friendly and flirty. Earth to Greg, John appears beside me, dressed as a vampire with fake blood that looks suspiciously real. You're staring. Just admiring the scenery, I mutter. Right. The scenery that's currently eye-sleeping the human jungle gym over there? I nearly choke on my beer. Jesus, John. What? I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. That guy's been undressing your wife with his eyes all night, and she's not exactly discouraging him. Before I can respond, Richard joins our little group, his zombie makeup expertly applied. What are we gossiping about? Greg's having an existential crisis about his marriage, John announces. I am not having... Oh, the Dominic thing? Richard nods knowingly. Yeah, Susie mentioned something about that earlier. Apparently Alicia has been asking a lot of questions about him. His job, whether he's single, that sort of thing. My stomach drops. Susie Chen is Alicia's best friend and biggest enabler. If she's talking about this to Richard, it means it's already common knowledge in our social circle. What kind of questions? I ask, trying to keep my voice casual. The kind married women shouldn't be asking about other men, Richard says bluntly. Look, Greg, I like you. We've been friends for 8 years. But you need to pay attention to what's happening right in front of you. I glance over at Alicia again. She's moved closer to Dominic, and now they're standing near the pool, away from the main group. Her body language is all wrong, leaning in too close, touching his arm again, that laugh that's just a little too bright. Maybe I should go over there, I say. Maybe you should, John agrees, before Captain Caveman decides to show her his club. I start walking toward them, my plastic sword bouncing against my leg with each step. As I get closer, I catch fragments of their conversation. So much more exciting than restaurant management, Alicia is saying. Construction must be so physically demanding. Dominic flexes slightly, and I swear to God my wife actually bites her lower lip. It keeps me in shape, not like sitting behind a desk all day. The dig at my job, at me, hits like a slap. I clear my throat as I approach. Hey, honey, having a good time? Alicia turns, and for just a second, I see something like guilt flash across her face before she plasters on her party smile. Greg, I was just telling Dominic about your work, how you manage 3 different restaurant locations. 4, actually, I correct, noting how she minimized my responsibilities. We just added the new place in Scottsdale last month. Dominic nods politely, but I can see the dismissal in his eyes. That's cool, man. Real steady work. Steady. Code for boring. Safe. Unexciting. Well, I should probably mingle, Dominic says, his eyes lingering on Alicia. Save me a dance later? Of course, she replies, and there's something in her voice I haven't heard in years. Something warm and promising. He walks away, and Alicia immediately becomes interested in her phone. So, I say carefully, seems like a nice guy. She's scrolling through something, not really listening. Very physical. What? She looks up, and there's that guilt again. Oh yes, he works out a lot. I noticed you noticing. Her jaw tightens. What's that supposed to mean? Nothing, just an observation. Well, maybe you should observe less and participate more. When's the last time you talked to anyone at a party besides John and Richard? It's a deflection, and we both know it. But before I can respond, she's already walking away, claiming she needs to find the bathroom. I stand there for a moment, feeling like an idiot in my discount pirate costume, watching my wife disappear into the house. Around me, the party continues. Laughter, music, the splash of someone jumping into the pool, normal sounds of normal people having a normal good time. But nothing feels normal anymore. I head inside, ostensibly to grab another beer from the kitchen, but really because I need a moment to think. The house is quieter, most guests preferring the backyard festivities. I'm reaching into the refrigerator when I hear voices from the hallway, Alicia and Susie, speaking in low, urgent tones. Timing has to be perfect, Susie is saying. You need to be smart about this. I know, but it's so hard to wait when I'm finally feeling alive again. Feeling alive and being stupid are two different things. You need to think about maximizing outcomes here. What if he suspects something? Greg? Please. The man thinks a good time is reorganizing his spreadsheets. He's completely clueless. Their voices are getting closer. I quickly grab a beer and slip out the back door, my heart pounding. Maximizing outcomes. That phrase keeps echoing in my head, and none of the interpretations I can come up with are good. I find myself back in the yard, but now everything looks different. The party that seemed fun and harmless 20 minutes ago now feels like a stage set, and I'm the only one who doesn't know what play we're performing. John appears beside me again. You look like you've seen a ghost, and not the fun Halloween kind. Just thinking. Dangerous territory for a married man. He follows my gaze to where Alicia has rejoined Dominic by the pool. You know, my cousin went through something similar last year. His wife started working out, buying new clothes, suddenly very interested in girls' nights out. And divorce papers. Cleaned him out pretty good too. Apparently she'd been planning it for months, moving money around, talking to lawyers. By the time he figured out what was happening, she had everything locked up tight. I take a long drink, the beer tasting like sawdust in my mouth. That's a cheerful story. I'm just saying, maybe pay attention to the details. Check your bank statements. See if she's been acting differently. Acting differently. Like suddenly caring about her appearance again after years of sweatpants and ponytails. Like the new lingerie I found in her drawer last week. Tags still on. Definitely not purchased for my benefit, since we haven't been intimate in over a month. Like the business card that fell out of her purse yesterday when she was looking for her keys. Hastings and May, family law. At the time, I'd assumed it was for someone at work, maybe a friend going through a divorce. But now... Greg? John is looking at me with concern. You okay, man? You just went completely white. Before I can answer, there's a splash from the pool, followed by laughter and cheering. Dominic has apparently decided to go for a swim, Tarzan costume and all. And my wife is standing at the edge, watching him, with an expression I recognize from our early dating days. The expression she used to reserve for me. I think, I say slowly, I need to start paying a lot more attention to details. John claps me on the shoulder. That's the spirit. And hey, if it turns out to be nothing, you can laugh about your paranoid Halloween party later. But as I watch Alicia lean down to hand Dominic a towel, her fingers lingering just a moment too long on his, I have a feeling laughter is going to be in short supply for a while. The party continues around me, but I'm no longer really there. I'm thinking about business cards and maximizing outcomes, and the way my wife's face lights up when she looks at another man. I always thought the scariest thing about Halloween was the candy corn. Turns out, it's divorce lawyers. The next morning arrives with the kind of hangover that has nothing to do with alcohol and everything to do with dread. Alicia is already up, humming in the kitchen while making coffee. Actual humming, like she's in a Disney movie. She hasn't hummed in our kitchen since Obama was president. Good morning, honey, she says brightly, not looking up from her phone as she scrolls through what I assume are pictures from last night's party. Coffee's fresh. Thanks. I pour myself a cup and study her over the rim. She's wearing makeup. At 8 a.m. on a Sunday for breakfast at home. Great party last night, she continues, still scrolling. Richard and Nikki really outdid themselves. You seem to enjoy yourself. Oh, I did. It was nice to meet some new people. That Dominic seems really interesting. Interesting. There's that word again. He mentioned he might stick around Phoenix for a while, she adds casually, thinking about relocating permanently. My coffee suddenly tastes bitter. Really? Why's that? Better opportunities, I guess. Plus, he said he likes the people here. I bet he does. Actually, Alicia sets down her phone and looks at me directly. I was thinking we should have him over for dinner sometime. You know, be neighborly. The request is so absurd I almost laugh. Alicia hasn't wanted to entertain anyone in our home for 2 years, claiming she's too tired from work and the kids. But now she wants to cook for the human Ken doll who was eye-sleeping her at a party? Sure, I say. That sounds neighborly. She beams at me, and for a moment, she looks like the woman I married, which somehow makes everything worse. I should get going, I tell her. Need to check on the Scottsdale location today. On Sunday? New restaurant, new problems. I kiss her cheek, noting the way she stiffens slightly at the contact. I'll probably be gone most of the day. Okay. I'll probably take the kids to my sister's later. The kids are at sleepovers, and her sister lives in California, but I just nod and head for the door. 20 minutes later, I'm sitting in my car outside a strip mall, dialing a number I found online at 3 a.m. while lying awake next to my humming wife. Park & Associates, this is Jennifer. Hi, I'd like to schedule a consultation with Ms. Park. Regarding? I take a deep breath. Divorce. But I'm not filing yet. I need advice on asset protection. I see. Ms. Park has an opening tomorrow at 2 p.m. Will that work? Perfect. I hang up and sit there for a moment, staring at my phone. 6 months ago, if someone had told me I'd be calling a divorce lawyer, I'd have laughed. Alicia and I had our problems, sure, but nothing that couldn't be worked out with better communication and maybe some counseling. But that was before I realized my wife was already 3 moves ahead in a game I didn't even know we were playing. My phone buzzes with a text from John. How's the hangover, Captain Jack? Still thinking about last night? I type back. Unfortunately, yes. Can you meet me for coffee? I need advice. The good kind, or the kind that requires alcohol? The kind that requires a lawyer? There's a long pause, then. Shit. Yeah, I can meet. Give me an hour. I spend that hour driving aimlessly through our neighborhood, really looking at it for the first time in years. The perfectly manicured lawns, the matching mailboxes, the SUVs parked in driveways like symbols of suburban success. It all looks the same as it did yesterday, but it feels different now, like I'm seeing it through someone else's eyes, someone who's about to lose half of it. John is already waiting when I arrive at our usual coffee shop, looking uncharacteristically serious. So, he says without preamble, how bad is it? I tell him everything. The party, the conversation I overheard, the business card, Alicia's sudden interest in entertaining Dominic. When I'm finished, he's quiet for a long moment. Okay, he says finally. First question, are you sure? Because once you start down this road, there's no going back. I'm sure enough to want protection. Fair enough. Second question, what kind of assets are we talking about? I run through the list. The house worth about $400,000 with $200 left on the mortgage. My 401k about $150. Savings account maybe $30,000. The boat I bought last year and have used exactly 3 times. 2 cars, both with loans. What about the restaurant business? That's complicated. I'm a district manager, not an owner, but I do have stock options that vest next year. Plus, there's the possibility of a franchise opportunity I've been discussing with corporate. John nods thoughtfully. And she knows about all this? Most of it. We've always been pretty open about finances. Until now. He leans back in his chair. My cousin's lawyer told him the key is documentation and timing. You need to establish a timeline of when things started going wrong, and you need to protect what you can legally protect before she makes her move. How do I do that? Carefully, and with professional help. He pulls out his phone. I'm going to give you the name of the guy my cousin used, Derek Hoffman. He's a private investigator, ex-cop, not cheap, but thorough. A private investigator? John, I'm not trying to catch her in bed with the guy. No, but you need documentation. If she's planning something, Derek can find out what. And if she's not, he shrugs, then you're out a few $100 and you can work on your marriage. I stare at the business card he slides across the table. Derek Hoffman, Private Investigations, discreet, professional, effective. This feels like I'm crossing a line. She already crossed it, Greg. You're just trying to catch up. That afternoon, I'm back home, sitting in my study and staring at my laptop screen. Alicia is at her sister's house. I checked, she actually went this time. And the house is quiet. Too quiet. I've been going through our joint accounts looking for anything unusual. Nothing obvious jumps out, but I'm not sure I'd recognize the signs anyway. What does financial infidelity look like? Mysterious withdrawals? New accounts I don't know about? My phone rings. Derek Hoffman returning my call. Mr. Peterson, you mentioned you might need some help with a domestic situation. His voice is gravelly, professional. I explain the basics, feeling ridiculous as I do. A Halloween party, a muscular construction worker, a business card that might mean nothing. How long have you been married? He asks when I'm finished. 12 years. Kids? 2, 8 and 10. And this is the first time you've suspected infidelity? Yes. Maybe. I don't know. Things have been different lately. Different how? I think about it. She's been happier. Which sounds crazy, but it's true. For the past few months, she's been more energetic, more interested in her appearance. I thought it was a good thing. It might be. Or it might mean she's found something, or someone, that makes her happy. Something that isn't you. The bluntness stings, but I appreciate it. What I can do, Derek continues, is establish a baseline. Find out if your suspicions have merit. But I need to be clear about something up front. If I find evidence of an affair, you might not like what comes next. What do you mean? I mean, once you know for sure, you have to decide what to do with that information. Some people prefer the uncertainty. I think about Alicia humming in the kitchen, the way she lit up talking about Dominic, the business card hidden in her purse. I need to know, I tell him. Okay, my rate is $200 a day plus expenses. I'll need a retainer of $1,000. And Mr. Peterson, don't change your behavior. Don't suddenly become suspicious or attentive or confrontational. Act normal. How do I act normal when nothing feels normal? Practice. Your marriage might depend on it. After I hang up, I sit in my study for a long time, looking at family photos on my desk. Alicia and me at our wedding, both of us impossibly young and happy. The kids as babies. Family vacations to places we could barely afford, but went anyway, because that's what families do. When did we stop being a family and become two people sharing expenses? I'm still sitting there when I hear Alicia's car in the driveway. I quickly close my laptop and grab a magazine, trying to look casual. Hey, she says, appearing in the doorway with that same bright smile. How was your day? Fine. Boring restaurant stuff. How was your sister's? Good. We had a great time. She leans against the doorframe, and I notice she's changed clothes since this morning. The outfit is more flattering, more intentional. Actually, she continues, I ran into Dominic at the grocery store on the way home. Small world, right? My stomach clenches. Right. Small world. He mentioned he's looking for a good restaurant in the area. I told him about that new Italian place you've been wanting to try. We should all go sometime. All, as in the three of us. That sounds great, I lie. She smiles and disappears upstairs, leaving me alone with my magazine and my suspicions and the growing certainty that my wife is planning something that's going to destroy everything I thought I knew about my life. But as I listen to her moving around upstairs, humming again, I realize something else. For the first time in years, I'm planning something too. And she has no idea what's coming. Ms. Park's office is exactly what you'd expect from a divorce lawyer. expensive furniture, law books nobody actually reads anymore, and a view that costs extra. She's younger than I expected, maybe 40, with the kind of sharp intelligence that probably terrifies opposing counsel. "So, Mr. Peterson," she says, reviewing the notes she took during my explanation. "You suspect your wife is planning to file for divorce, but she hasn't actually done anything yet." "Correct. And you want to know what you can do to protect yourself." "Also correct." She leans back in her chair. "The first thing you need to understand is that Arizona is a community property state. Anything acquired during the marriage is generally split 50-50, regardless of who earned it or whose name is on it." My heart sinks. "So there's nothing I can do?" "I didn't say that. There are legal ways to protect certain assets, but timing is crucial. Once divorce proceedings begin, the court can issue automatic restraining orders, preventing either party from disposing of assets." "What kind of legal ways?" "Well, retirement accounts can sometimes be restructured. Business interests can be reorganized. Separate property, things you owned before marriage, remains separate if you can prove it. The key is documentation and legitimate business purposes." She slides a folder across the desk. "This contains information about converting certain assets to protected forms. But Mr. Peterson, I need to be very clear about something. Any restructuring you do needs to be for legitimate reasons, not just to hide assets from your wife. The court takes a very dim view of that." "I understand." "Do you? Because if you're caught trying to defraud your spouse, you could end up worse off than if you'd done nothing at all." I spend the next hour learning more about community property law than I ever wanted to know. By the time I leave, my head is spinning. But I have a plan. Step 1. Document everything. Every conversation, every suspicious behavior, every change in routine. Step 2. Protect what I can legally protect, with legitimate business reasons for every move. Step 3. Wait for Derek to confirm what I already know in my gut. That evening, I'm in my study again, supposedly working on quarterly reports, but actually researching LLC formations and retirement account rollovers. The house is quiet. Alicia is at book club, or at least that's what she told me. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. "This is Derek. Can you talk?" I call him back immediately. "I've been watching your wife for 2 days," he says without preamble. "You want the good news or the bad news?" "Is there good news?" "The good news is she's not having a physical affair. Yet. And the bad news? She's laying the groundwork for one, and for a divorce. I followed her to a law office this afternoon, Hastings and May. The business card. I knew it. She was there for about an hour," Derek continues. "When she came out, she made a phone call. I couldn't hear everything, but I caught enough. She's definitely planning to file, and she's definitely interested in your friend Dominic." "How interested?" "They've been texting, a lot. Nothing explicitly intimate, but definitely flirtatious. She's also been asking questions about your finances, checking account balances, looking up property values, that sort of thing." I close my eyes. "Anything else?" "One more thing. She's been talking to her friend Susie about timing. Something about waiting until after the holidays for maximum impact. I think she's planning to file in January." January. 3 months away. 3 months to prepare. What do you recommend? Honestly, beat her to the punch. File first, control the narrative. But if you're not ready for that, then use the time to get your ducks in a row. Just remember, anything you do, she's probably thinking about too. After Derek hangs up, I sit in my study for a long time, staring at the family photos on my desk. 12 years of marriage, and it's come to this. Private investigators and asset protection, and wondering if the woman I share a bed with is planning to destroy me. But as the initial shock wears off, something else takes its place. Something I haven't felt in a long time. Anger. Not the hot, explosive kind that makes you do stupid things. The cold, calculating kind that makes you dangerous. If Alicia wants to play games, fine. But she's about to learn that her boring, spreadsheet-loving husband knows how to play too. Over the next 2 weeks, I become a very busy man. I establish an LLC for the consulting work I've been doing on the side, completely legitimate since I actually have been doing consulting work. I roll over part of my 401k into a SEP IRA, taking advantage of a new self-employment opportunity that technically exists, even if it's not very lucrative yet. I also prepay our mortgage using money from my inheritance, my father's life insurance policy that I received before we were married. Separate property, according to Ms. Park, and using it to pay down community debt is not only legal, but smart. Most importantly, I document everything. Every late-night book club meeting. Every mysterious phone call that ends when I walk into the room. Every time she mentions Dominic in casual conversation, which is becoming disturbingly frequent. The man might as well be a member of our family at this point. Dominic found a great apartment in Tempe, she mentions over dinner one night. Good for him. He's really settling in well. I think he's going to love it here. I'm sure he will. Maybe we should have him over for Thanksgiving, since he doesn't have family here. I look up from my plate. Thanksgiving is for family, Alicia. Well, yes, but we could make an exception. Just this once. Just this once. Like the dinner invitation that never materialized. Like the book club that seems to meet at different locations every week. Like the new lingerie that I'm apparently not meant to see. Maybe, I say, and she smiles like she's won something. But I'm the one who's winning. Every conversation, every lie, every manipulation, I'm documenting all of it, building a case she doesn't even know exists. The breakthrough comes 3 weeks later. I'm working late at the Scottsdale restaurant when I remember I left my laptop at home. I need some files for a presentation tomorrow, so I drive back to get it. The house is dark when I pull into the driveway. Alicia's car is gone. Another book club meeting, she said. But as I'm heading to my study, I hear voices from the kitchen. I freeze. The back door is open and someone is on the patio. Can't keep doing this, Alicia is saying. It's driving me crazy. I know, baby, but we have to be smart. Baby. The word hits me like a physical blow. Greg's been acting weird lately, more attentive, like he suspects something. Does he? I don't think so. He's not that observant. But still. Look, you said you'd have the divorce filed by January. That's only 2 months away. I know. My lawyer says I need to be patient, build a stronger case, make sure I get everything I'm entitled to. And then? There's a pause, and I can picture them together on my patio furniture, planning the destruction of my life. Then we can be together. Really together. No more sneaking around. No more pretending. I can't wait to wake up next to you every morning. Soon, she says. I promise. I stand in my own hallway, listening to my wife plan our divorce with her lover, and something inside me breaks. Not breaks apart. Breaks free. I quietly grab my laptop and leave, but not before I've heard enough to confirm everything Derek told me and more. They're not just planning an affair, they're planning a life together. In my house, with my money, raising my kids. The next morning, Alicia is humming again as she makes coffee. She's wearing a new dress I've never seen, and her makeup is flawless. You're up early, she says, without looking at me. Couldn't sleep. Everything okay? I study her face, looking for any sign of guilt or remorse. There's nothing. Just the bright fake smile she's been wearing for months. Everything's perfect, I tell her. And for the first time in weeks, I'm not lying. Because I finally understand the game we're playing, and I'm ready to make my move. That afternoon, I call Derek. I need you to get me everything, I tell him. Phone records, meeting locations, financial information, everything. That's going to cost extra. I don't care what it costs. There's a pause. Greg, what happened? I stopped being the victim. When I hang up, I'm smiling. Really smiling for the first time since Halloween. Alicia thinks she's been planning the perfect crime, but she's about to learn that the best revenge isn't getting mad. It's getting even. The evidence Derek delivers 2 days later is comprehensive and damning. Phone records showing dozens of calls and texts between Alicia and Dominic, credit card statements revealing purchases I never knew about, dinners at restaurants we've never been to together, a hotel room last Tuesday when she claimed to be shopping with Susie. But the real bombshell is the recording. I was able to plant a device in her car, Derek explains, sliding a small digital recorder across the table. Arizona is a one-party consent state, so this is completely legal as long as one person in the conversation knows about the recording. But neither of them knew. No, but you're paying for the investigation, which makes you a party to it. Trust me, it's admissible. I press play and hear my wife's voice, clear as day. The lawyer says I need to document everything that makes Greg look like an unfit father. His drinking, the way he ignores the kids, how he's never home. Does he drink that much? Dominic's voice. Not really, but who's going to know? I can say whatever I want. It's my word against his, and I'm the primary caregiver. What about the money? That's the beautiful part. He's been so focused on work, he has no idea what our assets actually look like. I've been moving money into accounts he doesn't know about for months. By the time he figures out what's happening, it'll be too late. I stop the recording. My hands are shaking. There's more, Derek says quietly. More? She's been meeting with someone else, a man named Tony Castellanos. He's a financial advisor, but not the legitimate kind. He specializes in helping people hide assets during divorce proceedings. That's illegal. Very. And if we can prove it, it could destroy her case entirely. I lean back in my chair, processing everything. My wife isn't just planning to leave me. She's planning to frame me as an unfit father and steal everything we've built together. The rage I felt before is nothing compared to what I'm feeling now. Derek, I say slowly, I want you to keep watching, but I also need you to do something else. What? I need you to find out everything you can about Tony Castellanos, his methods, his clients, his weaknesses, everything. What are you planning? I'm planning to make sure my wife gets exactly what she deserves. That evening, I sit through dinner with Alicia and the kids, listening to her ask about their day, help with homework, play the role of devoted mother. The performance is flawless, and that's what makes it so horrifying. Daddy, are you okay? My daughter Emma asks. You look sad. I'm fine, sweetheart. Just thinking about work. Daddy's always thinking about work, my son Michael says with the casual dismissiveness of a 10-year-old. That's not true, I protest. But even as I say it, I wonder if it is. Have I been so focused on providing for this family that I forgot to actually be part of it? It's okay, honey, Alicia says, reaching over to squeeze my hand. We know you work hard for us. The touch of her skin makes me sick. After the kids go to bed, we're alone in the living room. She's reading a book, or pretending to, while I watch television. It's a scene we've played out thousands of times over the years, comfortable in our separate silences. Except now I know it's all been a lie. Alicia, I say during a commercial break, are you happy? She looks up, surprised. What kind of question is that? A simple one. Are you happy? With us? With our life? Of course I am. Why would you ask that? You just seem different lately. More energetic. Like something's changed. For just a moment, her mask slips, and I see something like panic in her eyes. Then she smiles. I've been trying to take better care of myself. Exercise more, eat better. Maybe that's what you're noticing. Maybe. Greg, is everything okay? You've been acting strange lately. The irony is almost funny. She's the one planning to destroy our marriage, but I'm the one acting strange. Everything's fine, I tell her. I just want to make sure we're okay. You and me. We're fine, she says, but she won't meet my eyes. Good. Because I love you, Alicia. I love our family. I'd do anything to protect it. Now she does look at me, and there's something calculating in her expression. "I love you too," she says. It's the most convincing lie she's told yet. The next morning, I put phase 2 of my plan into motion. I call in sick to work, something I never do, and drive to Tony Castellanos' office. It's in a strip mall in Glendale, wedged between a nail salon and a tax preparation service. The sign on the door says, Castellanos Financial Services, but the waiting room looks like something from 1985. "I'd like to speak to Mr. Castellanos about protecting my assets," I tell the receptionist. "Are you going through a divorce?" Thinking about it. 20 minutes later, I'm sitting across from a man who looks like he sells used cars for a living. Tony Castellanos is maybe 50, with slicked back hair and a gold tooth that gleams when he smiles. "So," he says, "your wife doesn't know you're here?" "That's right." Good. The less they know, the better. Now, what kind of assets are we talking about?" I give him a rough overview of my finances, watching his eyes light up when I mention the restaurant stock options and the potential franchise opportunity. "Oh, we can definitely help you," he says. "I have methods that are completely undetectable. Offshore accounts, shell companies, cryptocurrency conversions. Your wife will never know what hit her." "Isn't that illegal?" He waves a hand dismissively. "Technically, maybe. But everybody does it. The key is not getting caught. And if we do get caught, we won't. I've been doing this for 15 years, and I've never had a client get in trouble." He spends the next hour explaining various schemes, each more illegal than the last. I nod and ask questions and act interested, all while the digital recorder in my pocket captures every word. When I leave, I have everything I need to destroy Tony Castellanos' business, and by extension, any plans Alicia might have to use his services. But I'm not done yet. That afternoon, I drive to Dominic's apartment complex in Tempe. It's a nice place, too nice for a construction worker's salary, which makes me wonder who's helping him pay for it. I wait in the parking lot until I see him come home from work. Then I approach him as he's getting out of his truck. "Dominic, right? We met at Richard's party." He turns, and I see recognition and something like guilt flash across his face. "Oh, hey, Greg, right? Alicia's husband." "That's right. I was wondering if we could talk." "About what?" "About my wife." His whole body tenses. "I don't know what you mean." "I think you do. See, the thing is, I know about the phone calls, the text messages, the hotel room last Tuesday." The color drains from his face. "Look, man, I don't want any trouble." "Neither do I. That's why we're going to have a civilized conversation." I gesture toward a bench near the pool. He follows reluctantly. "Here's what's going to happen," I tell him once we're seated. "You're going to stop seeing my wife. You're going to stop calling her, texting her, and meeting her in hotel rooms. You're going to disappear from her life completely. And if I don't, then I'm going to destroy you." He laughs, but there's no humor in it. "You? No offense, man, but you don't exactly look like the threatening type." I pull out my phone and show him a photo Derek took of him entering the hotel with Alicia. "This goes to your employer, your family, and anyone else who might be interested. I also have recordings of you and Alicia discussing how to defraud me in divorce court. That's a felony, Dominic. You could go to prison." His laughter dies. "You're bluffing." "Am I?" I show him another photo, this one of him leaving Tony Castellanos' office. "You've been getting financial advice about hiding assets. That's conspiracy to commit fraud. Add that to the adultery evidence, and you're looking at serious jail time. This is crazy. You can't prove anything." "I can prove everything. The question is, do you want me to?" We stare at each other for a long moment. Finally, he looks away. "What do you want?" "I told you. Disappear. Move back to wherever you came from. Find someone else's wife to chase. And if I do that, you'll leave me alone? If you do that, you'll never hear from me again." He's quiet for a minute, thinking it over. "She's not going to like this," he says finally. That's not your problem anymore. She really loves you, you know. She talks about you all the time. The lie is so audacious, I almost admire it. I'm sure she does. Do we have a deal? He nods reluctantly. Yeah, we have a deal. Good. Oh, and Dominic, if you try to warn her about this conversation, I'll know. And then all bets are off. I leave him sitting by the pool, staring at his phone like it might explode. Phase 3, complete. That night, Alicia seems agitated. She keeps checking her phone, frowning when there are no messages. Everything okay? I ask. Fine, just waiting to hear back from someone about work. Anyone I know? No, just a colleague. She tries calling someone after dinner, but apparently there's no answer. She leaves a voicemail that I can't quite hear, but her tone is frustrated. Problems? I ask. No problems, just people not returning calls. I nod sympathetically and go back to watching television, fighting to keep the smile off my face. By the weekend, it's clear that Dominic has kept his word. Alicia is increasingly agitated, checking her phone constantly and making calls that go unanswered. The humming has stopped, and the bright smiles are becoming forced. I think I'm coming down with something, she says Sunday morning, though she looks perfectly healthy to me. Maybe you should rest today. Skip book club. There's no book club today? Oh, well, maybe you should call Susie. She always cheers you up. Maybe. But she doesn't call Susie. She doesn't call anyone. She spends the day pacing around the house like a caged animal, and I spend it pretending to read while watching her world slowly collapse. It's the most satisfying Sunday I've had in years. That evening, as we're getting ready for bed, she finally asks the question I've been waiting for. Greg, have you noticed anything different lately? Different how? I don't know. Just different. You mean like how you've seemed happier the past few months? She freezes. Happier? More energetic. More interested in going out, meeting people. I thought it was good for you. Did you really? Of course. Why wouldn't I want my wife to be happy? She stares at me for a long moment, and I can see the wheels turning in her head. She's trying to figure out what I know, what I suspect, what I'm planning, but I've gotten very good at hiding my thoughts lately. I love you, she says suddenly. I love you too. And this time, I'm the one who's lying. The call comes on a Tuesday morning in December. I'm at the Scottsdale location going over inventory reports when Derek's name appears on my phone. We have a problem, he says without preamble. What kind of problem? Your wife filed for divorce yesterday. She beat you to it. I set down my coffee cup carefully. I thought we had until January. So did I. But something spooked her. She filed emergency papers claiming you're emotionally abusive and requesting immediate temporary custody of the children. The words hit me like a physical blow. That's insane. I've never laid a hand on her or the kids. I know that, and you know that. But she's got Susie and 2 other friends ready to testify that they've seen signs of abuse. Unexplained bruises, fearful behavior, that sort of thing. All lies. Probably. But lies that could work if we don't counter them immediately. I close my eyes trying to think. What about Dominic? Is he involved? That's the interesting part. She's claiming he was just a friend who was trying to help her escape an abusive situation. Very convenient story. And Tony Castellanos? Still working with her, as far as I can tell. But they've gotten more careful since Dominic disappeared. I stand up and start pacing. Outside the window, Phoenix sprawls under a December sky that's too blue for the darkness I'm feeling. Derek, I need you to do something for me. What? I need you to arrange a meeting, tonight, with Alicia, Susie, and anyone else who's part of this conspiracy. That's not a good idea. Your lawyer would have a heart attack. I'm not planning to do anything illegal. I just want to talk. Famous last words. Trust me. There's a long pause. How do you want to do this? Tell Alicia I know everything and I want to discuss terms. Tell her I'll meet her at the house at 8 o'clock and she can bring whoever she wants for support. And what are you really planning? I'm planning to give them exactly what they deserve. That afternoon, I make several phone calls. The first is to Ms. Park, who is indeed not happy about my plan, but agrees to be on standby. The second is to Richard, who agrees to help despite his reservations. The third is to a friend who works in television production and owes me a favor. By 7 p.m., everything is in place. I'm sitting in my living room when Alicia arrives with Susie and another woman I don't recognize. They look nervous but determined, like soldiers heading into battle. "Greg," Alicia says, taking the chair across from me. "Derek said you wanted to talk." "I do. But first I want you to know that everything we say tonight is being recorded." Susie starts to object, but I hold up a hand. Arizona is a one-party consent state, and this is my house. So yes, we're being recorded. If that makes you uncomfortable, you're free to leave. They exchange glances, but stay seated. "Good," I continue. "Now, let's talk about your divorce filing." "It's not up for discussion," Alicia says. "I've made my decision." "Based on what? The abuse that never happened? The emotional cruelty you invented? The fear you've never actually felt?" "I don't have to justify." "Actually, you do, because I have evidence that contradicts every claim you made in those papers." I pull out a folder and set it on the coffee table. Phone records showing your affair with Dominic Martinez, hotel receipts, recordings of you planning to lie about my parenting and hide marital assets, meeting notes from Tony Castellanos about illegal financial schemes. The color drains from Alicia's face. "You've been spying on me." "I've been protecting myself. There's a difference. This is illegal. You can't record someone without their permission." "Actually, I can, and I did. Would you like to hear some of the highlights?" I press play on a small digital recorder. Alicia's voice fills the room, clear and damning. "The lawyer says I need to document everything that makes Greg look like an unfit father." "Turn it off," she says quickly. "Why? I thought you might enjoy hearing your greatest hits. There's the part where you talk about hiding money in accounts I don't know about. The part where you and Dominic laugh about how stupid and boring I am. The part where you discuss framing me for abuse I never committed." Susie is staring at her friend like she's never seen her before. "Alicia, you told me he actually hit you." "He did. He's just—" "No," I interrupt. "I didn't. And you know I didn't. Just like you know I'm not an alcoholic or emotionally abusive or any of the other things you claimed in your filing." "You don't understand," Alicia says desperately. "I was unhappy. I felt trapped. So you decided to destroy me instead of just asking for a divorce like a normal person. It wasn't supposed to be like this. No, it was supposed to be worse. You were supposed to take my kids, my house, and my money, and I was supposed to be too stupid to fight back." I stand up and walk to the window. Outside, I can see Richard's car parked across the street, right on schedule. "Here's what's going to happen," I say, turning back to face them. "You're going to withdraw your divorce filing and refile with accurate information. No false abuse claims, no lies about my parenting, no attempts to hide assets." "And if I don't?" "Then I release everything I have to your employer, your family, your friends, and the local media. I also turn over evidence of your conspiracy with Tony Castellanos to the district attorney's office." "You wouldn't." "Try me." For a moment, the room is completely silent. Then Susie speaks up. "Alicia, maybe you should listen to him. This has gotten way out of hand." "Shut up, Susie." "No, I won't shut up. You lied to me. You lied to everyone. You made us all part of this fraud." "I was protecting myself." "By destroying your husband? By lying about abuse? By trying to steal his children?" Alicia turns on her friend with a fury I've never seen before. "Don't you dare judge me. You have no idea what it's like being married to someone who cares more about spreadsheets than his own wife." So you decided to care more about his best friend's brother than your own marriage. The words hang in the air like a slap. Alicia looks around the room, realizing for the first time that she's completely alone. This isn't over, she says, standing up. Yes, it is. I'll fight you. I'll take everything. With what? Your credibility is destroyed. Your co-conspirators are abandoning you. Your lover has disappeared, and your illegal financial advisor is about to be investigated by the FBI. The FBI? Financial fraud is a federal crime, Alicia. When they arrest Tony Castellanos, and they will, how long do you think it'll take him to give up his clients? She stares at me like she's seeing me for the first time. You're not the man I married. No, I'm not. The man you married was naive enough to trust you. This man knows better. She turns and walks toward the door, Susie and the other woman following. At the threshold, she stops. I really did love you once, she says without turning around. I know. But you loved the idea of destroying me more. After they leave, I sit in my empty living room for a long time, listening to the silence. It's different from the comfortable silence Alicia and I used to share. This silence is final. My phone buzzes with a text from Richard. How did it go? I type back, better than expected. Need anything? A good lawyer and a strong drink. I can help with the drink part. 20 minutes later, Richard is sitting in my kitchen while I pour 2 glasses of whiskey. So, he says, what happens now? Now she files for divorce honestly, we split our assets according to the law, and we figure out custody arrangements that actually serve the kids' best interests. And if she doesn't? Then I destroy her, completely and publicly. Richard studies my face. You've changed, you know, since Halloween. Good or bad? I'm not sure yet, but definitely different. I think about that as I sip my whiskey. 6 weeks ago, I was a naive husband who trusted his wife and believed in the basic goodness of people. Tonight, I'm a man who's learned to fight dirty when necessary. Richard, I say, do you think I'm a bad person? For what? Protecting yourself? Refusing to be a victim? Hell no. Even with everything I did? The recordings, the private investigator, the threats? Greg, she was planning to frame you for abuse and steal your children. You did what you had to do. It doesn't feel like victory. It's not supposed to. Victory would be if none of this had happened. This is just survival. He's right, of course. This isn't victory. It's just the end of one war and the beginning of another. Because even if Alicia backs down, even if she files honestly and we divorce civilly, we still have to figure out how to raise our children together. Children who are going to want to know why mommy and daddy don't love each other anymore. That night, after Richard leaves, I sit in my study, looking at family photos and wondering how it all went so wrong. Was I really that inattentive? That boring? That easy to deceive? Maybe. But that doesn't excuse what Alicia did. It doesn't justify the lies, the manipulation, the attempt to destroy me for the crime of being an imperfect husband. My phone rings. It's Derek. Just wanted to let you know, he says. Alicia called her lawyer an hour ago. She's withdrawing the abuse allegations. And the rest of it? She's refiling with accurate information. No lies, no hidden assets, no false claims. I close my eyes and feel something like relief wash over me. Thank you, Derek, for everything. Just doing my job. But Greg? Be careful. Cornered animals are dangerous, and you just backed her into a very small corner. I'll be careful. Good. And Greg? For what it's worth, I think you handled this exactly right. A lot of men would have just rolled over and let her take everything. After he hangs up, I pour myself another whiskey and toast the empty room. Here's to new beginnings, I say aloud. And for the first time in months, I mean it. 3 days later, everything falls apart. I'm at work when Ms. Park calls with news that makes my blood run cold. Greg, we have a serious problem. Alicia didn't withdraw her filing. She amended it. What do you mean, amended it? She's now claiming you threatened her and her friends. She has a recording of your meeting the other night, and she's using it to support a restraining order request. I sit down hard in my office chair. That's impossible. I was completely civil. Were you? Because according to her transcript, you threatened to destroy her reputation, ruin her career, and have her arrested. Yes, but only if she continued lying about abuse that never happened. The court doesn't see it that way. They see a husband threatening his wife during divorce proceedings. Greg, you could be looking at criminal charges. The room spins around me. How is this possible? Because you recorded her without permission in a context that could be seen as intimidation. Arizona may be a one-party consent state, but there are exceptions when recordings are used to threaten or coerce. She was the one lying. She was the one committing fraud. I know that, and eventually we'll prove it. But right now she's controlling the narrative. The judge has granted a temporary restraining order. You can't go within 500 feet of your wife or your house. What about my kids? Supervised visitation only. And Greg? There's something else. What? She's held a press conference. I stare at the phone. A what? A press conference. She's claiming to be a victim of domestic abuse who was brave enough to come forward. It's all over the local news. I hang up and immediately turn on the television in my office. There, on Channel 12's noon broadcast, is my wife, looking fragile and brave as she sits next to a lawyer I don't recognize. I lived in fear for years, she's saying, her voice trembling with perfectly calibrated emotion. My husband is a controlling, manipulative man who threatened to destroy me if I tried to leave. But I couldn't stay silent anymore, especially when I realized my children might be in danger. The reporter, a young woman with ambitious eyes, leans forward sympathetically. What finally gave you the courage to come forward? When he started threatening my friends, people who were just trying to help me, I realized that if I didn't act, he would hurt innocent people. And you have recordings of these threats? Yes. Audio recordings where he explicitly threatens to ruin my life if I don't withdraw my divorce filing. They play a clip, my voice clear and unmistakable. Then I release everything I have to your employer, your family, your friends, and the local media. Without context, it sounds exactly like what she's claiming it is. Mrs. Peterson, what do you want people to know? That domestic abuse isn't always physical. Sometimes it's psychological, financial, emotional, and that no woman should have to live in fear of her husband. I turn off the television and sit in stunned silence. In the space of one news broadcast, I've gone from victim to villain, from wronged husband to abusive monster. My phone starts ringing immediately. Reporters, friends, colleagues, everyone wants to know if the allegations are true. I don't answer any of the calls. Instead, I call Derek. I saw the news, he says before I can speak. This is bad. How bad? Career-ending bad. Reputation-destroying bad. Your restaurant company is already getting calls asking if they employ domestic abusers. But we have evidence. We have proof that she's lying. Evidence that was obtained through what now looks like stalking and intimidation. Greg, she's turned your entire investigation against you. I close my eyes. How did this happen? She's smarter than we thought, and she had better legal advice. What do I do now? Fight back, but carefully. One wrong move, and you'll end up in jail. That evening, I'm sitting in a hotel room, the only place I'm legally allowed to be, when Richard calls. Jesus, Greg, what the hell happened? She outplayed me. The whole thing is bullshit. Everyone who knows you knows you'd never hurt anyone. Apparently not everyone. I've gotten 17 messages today from people expressing their disappointment and concern. What about John, Nikki, your real friends? John believes me. Nikki's not sure. And honestly, I don't blame her. If I saw that news report and didn't know the context, I'd think I was guilty too. So what's the plan? I don't know. My lawyer says I need to be very careful about how I respond. Anything I say can be twisted to make me look worse. This is insane. She's the one who was having an affair. She's the one who was planning to commit fraud. None of that matters now. She's the victim and I'm the abuser. That's the story, and it's sticking. After Richard hangs up, I sit in my hotel room and stare at the wall. 24 hours ago, I thought I was winning. I thought I was the smart one, the prepared one, the one who couldn't be fooled. But Alicia was always 3 moves ahead. While I was playing checkers, she was playing chess. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. This is what you get for threatening me. Hope it was worth it. Alicia, gloating. I stare at the message for a long time, feeling something cold and hard settle in my chest. She wants to play games? Fine. But she's about to learn that I'm done playing by anyone else's rules. I pick up my phone and dial Derek. I need you to release everything, I tell him. Greg, that's not a good idea right now. I don't care. The phone records, the hotel receipts, the recordings with Tony Castellanos, everything. I want it all public. That could backfire. It could make you look vindictive. I already look like a monster. At least this way, I'll look like a monster with evidence. Where do you want me to send it? Everywhere. Every news outlet, every social media platform, every gossip blog. I want the whole truth out there, not just her version of it. This is going to get ugly. It's already ugly. Now it's going to be honest. The next morning, the story explodes across every platform in Phoenix. The local news stations, the newspapers, social media, everyone is talking about the Peterson divorce and the competing narratives of victim and villain. Channel 15 leads with domestic abuse, victim, or cheating wife. New evidence emerges in Peterson case. The Arizona Republic runs a detailed investigation. Divorce case reveals complex web of deception. Social media is split between Believe Alicia and Justice for Greg hashtags. But the most damaging coverage comes from an unexpected source, Susie Chen. In an interview with Channel 3, Alicia's former best friend drops a bombshell. I was there when they planned it, she says, looking directly into the camera. Alicia asked me to lie about seeing bruises that never existed. She wanted me to testify that Greg was abusive, but I never saw any evidence of that. Never. Why are you coming forward now? The reporter asks. Because I can't live with being part of a lie. Greg Peterson isn't perfect, but he's not a monster, and what Alicia is doing to him, it's wrong. The interview destroys Alicia's credibility overnight. By noon, 2 other friends have come forward to admit they were asked to lie about witnessing abuse. By evening, the district attorney's office has announced they're investigating potential perjury charges. But the real turning point comes when Tony Castellanos is arrested. The FBI raids his office and finds evidence of financial fraud involving dozens of clients. When faced with federal charges, he immediately starts cooperating, providing detailed information about his illegal schemes, including his work with Alicia. Mrs. Peterson approached me about hiding assets from her husband, he tells investigators, according to a leaked report. She wanted to make it look like they had less money than they actually did, so she could get a bigger settlement. The leaked audio recordings are even more damaging. Alicia's voice discussing how to move money offshore and create false financial statements. The key is making it look like he wasted money on gambling or drinking, she says on one recording. Something that makes him look irresponsible. By the end of the week, the restraining order has been dismissed, the abuse allegations have been withdrawn, and Alicia is facing potential criminal charges for perjury and conspiracy to commit fraud. I'm sitting in Ms. Park's office, reading through the latest legal filings, when she gives me the news I've been waiting for. She wants to settle, Ms. Park says. No custody fight, no asset disputes, no more lies. She just wants this to end. What are her terms? 50-50 custody, equal division of assets, and mutual non-disclosure agreements about the details of your marriage. And if I say no, then this goes to trial, and given the evidence we now have, she'll likely lose everything: her reputation, her credibility, possibly her freedom. I think about it for a moment. 6 weeks ago, I would have jumped at this offer. A clean divorce, shared custody, no more fighting. But 6 weeks ago, I didn't know what my wife was capable of. No, I say finally. No, I don't want a settlement. I want a trial. I want everything public, everything on the record. I want the whole truth to come out. Greg, that's going to be expensive and painful for everyone involved, including your children. The children deserve to know the truth about their mother, and so does everyone else. Ms. Park studies my face. You're not the same man who walked into my office 2 months ago. No, I'm not. That man was naive enough to think his wife loved him. This man knows better. And what does this man want? Justice. Real justice, not a settlement that lets her pretend she was the victim. Even if it means destroying her completely? She tried to destroy me first. She tried to take my children, my reputation, my entire life. Why should I show her mercy she never showed me? Ms. Park nods slowly. Okay. We go to trial. That night, I'm back in my house, legally, finally, when Alicia calls. Greg, please, we need to talk. I thought we said everything we needed to say. Please. Just, please. Against my better judgment, I agree to meet her at a coffee shop downtown. She's already there when I arrive, looking smaller and more fragile than I've ever seen her. Thank you for coming, she says. What do you want, Alicia? I want to apologize. For everything. The lies, the affair, the false accusations. All of it. Okay, you've apologized. Anything else? I want you to accept the settlement offer. Why would I do that? Because if this goes to trial, it's going to destroy both of us. The kids will see everything, hear everything. Is that really what you want? I study her face, looking for any sign of the woman I once loved. She's still beautiful, still capable of seeming vulnerable and sympathetic. But I know now that it's all performance. You know what I find interesting? I say. You're worried about the kids now, but when you were planning to frame me for abuse, you weren't thinking about how that would affect them. I was desperate. I felt trapped. So you decided to trap me instead. I made mistakes, terrible mistakes. But we can still fix this. No, we can't. You can't unlie about abuse. You can't uncheat with Dominic. You can't unplan to steal my children and my money. So what? You're going to destroy me? Is that your idea of justice? I lean back in my chair, really looking at her. You know what's funny? I spent months thinking I was the victim here. Poor Greg, betrayed by his wife, manipulated and deceived. But I realize now that's not the whole story. What do you mean? I mean, maybe you were right about some things. Maybe I was boring. Maybe I did care more about work than our marriage. Maybe I wasn't the husband you needed. For a moment, hope flickers in her eyes. But that doesn't excuse what you did, I continue. If you were unhappy, you should have talked to me. If you wanted a divorce, you should have asked for one honestly. Instead, you chose to lie, cheat, and try to destroy me. I was scared. Of what? Of me? The man who never raised his voice? Never threatened you? Never did anything but try to provide for our family? Of starting over, of being alone, of not having enough money to take care of the kids. So, you decided to make sure I'd be the one who was alone and broke. She doesn't answer, which is answer enough. Here's what's going to happen, I tell her. We're going to trial. Everything is going to come out. The affair, the fraud, the lies, all of it. And when it's over, you're going to get exactly what you deserve. Which is? Nothing. No house, no savings, minimal custody, and a reputation that matches your character. I stand up to leave. Greg, wait. I turn back. I really did love you once. I know, but you loved the idea of destroying me more. I walk away, leaving her sitting alone in the coffee shop, and I don't look back. 3 months later, the trial is over. The judge's ruling is everything I hoped for and more. Alicia gets minimal custody, supervised visits only, due to her demonstrated willingness to lie about abuse. I get the house, the majority of our assets, and full custody of the children. More importantly, the truth is now public record. Every lie, every deception, every manipulation is documented in court transcripts that anyone can read. Alicia's reputation is destroyed. She lost her job during the trial and hasn't been able to find another one. The friends who didn't abandon her during the scandal have distanced themselves since the verdict. She's living in a small apartment across town, working part-time at a retail job, and seeing our children every other weekend under court supervision. It's exactly what she deserves. I'm standing in my backyard on a Saturday afternoon, watching Emma and Michael play on the swing set, when my phone rings. It's Richard. "How are you doing?" he asks. "Good, really good." "The kids adjusting okay?" "Better than expected. Kids are resilient." "And you? Any regrets?" I think about it. Do I regret the investigation, the recordings, the public humiliation of the woman I once